If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns are once again the center of negative attention in the NFL media sphere, and it's not without reason. After a promising 2023 season where they clawed their way to an 11-6 finish and punched a ticket to the playoffs, the Browns have quickly spiraled back into uncertainty. That strong campaign feels like a distant memory now, more like a blip than a building block. In 2024, the team completely lost its footing, finishing a full 8 games worse than the previous year. That dramatic fall from grace didn't go unnoticed. With questions swirling around the most important position in football, quarterback, and glaring issues in other key areas of the roster, national analysts aren't exactly giving Cleveland the benefit of the doubt. In fact, Bleacher Report has made its stance crystal clear. The Browns will finish dead last in the AFC North. It's a grim forecast for a franchise that can't seem to sustain momentum. Let's not pretend the AFC North is a walk in the park either. It's arguably the most competitive division in the entire NFL, stacked with powerhouses like the Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, and Pittsburgh Steelers. Each of those teams boasts a clear identity, a stable coaching situation, and perhaps most importantly, proven quarterback play, something the Browns sorely lack. Bleacher Report's Mo Moton didn't mince words when laying out his rationale for burying the Browns in the basement. According to him, whoever ends up under center will likely be running for his life thanks to an offensive line riddled with question marks, particularly at the tackle positions. And even if they somehow manage to stay upright, there's little in the way of elite weapons to help them move the chains consistently. Outside of Jerry Jeudy, Cleveland's receiving core is a patchwork of unproven talent and unreliable veterans, hardly the recipe for success in today's NFL. Now let's talk quarterbacks, because that's where the real drama lies. Cleveland has amassed a collection of passers that's more confusing than promising. They brought in Kenny Pickett, who couldn't hold on to the starting job in Pittsburgh. They re-signed Joe Flacco, the veteran who had a Cinderella run last season, but is far from a long-term solution. Then in the 2025 NFL Draft, they doubled down by adding 2 rookies, Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, both intriguing prospects but far from polished products. That leaves the Browns with 4 quarterbacks heading into training camp, and not a single clear answer. There's no starter, no face of the franchise, just a bunch of questions and a race that could drag well into the regular season. For a team already on shaky ground, that kind of instability could be the tipping point between mediocrity and outright disaster. The offensive line situation doesn't make things any easier. The tackle positions have become liabilities rather than strengths, with inconsistent play leading to frequent breakdowns in protection. That's a nightmare scenario for any quarterback, let alone a young one trying to find his footing in the league. Interior linemen like Joe Bitonio and Wyatt. Teller can only do so much when the edges are constantly being caved in. With the defense pinning their ears back and charging hard, it's going to be a brutal learning curve for whoever wins the QB competition. And if they do manage to get the ball out, they'll be looking for help from a receiving core that's still searching for its identity. Jerry Jeudy might be a legit threat, but after that, it's a steep drop-off. The lack of depth and proven playmakers is a glaring weakness that opposing defenses will exploit all year long. Defense used to be the Browns' calling card, especially during their 2023 campaign. Myles Garrett and company wreaked havoc, creating turnovers and shutting down opposing offenses. But even that once mighty unit has taken a step back. Injuries and inconsistent play plagued them last season, and the lack of offensive support made their job even harder. They were on the field too long, too often, and it showed as games wore on. Now the defense is in danger of losing its edge entirely. If the offense can't stay on the field, it's only a matter of time before fatigue sets in and cracks begin to show. Cleveland can't afford that. Not in a division where every game feels like a playoff battle. The defense needs to be elite just to keep them competitive, but right now it's looking like another year of backpedaling instead of progress. As bad as things may seem now, the future outlook might be even more uncertain. Bleacher Report's prediction doesn't just stop at a last place finish, it hints at a total reboot. According to Mo Moton, the Browns could find themselves once again in a quarterback market come next offseason. That would be a damning indictment of the current regime's decision-making and a sign that this team hasn't solved its most pressing issue. It's one thing to cycle through QBs in search of the right guy, but it's another to do it year after year without any sign of long-term stability. If none of the current 4 options pan out, we're talking about yet another draft pick, another offseason of speculation, and possibly another coaching staff tasked with turning things around. The Browns aren't just fighting for wins this year, they're fighting to prove they have a direction at all. Leadership will be crucial if the Browns want to weather this storm, but that's another area full of question marks. Head coach Kevin Stefanski has done his best to keep the ship steady, but patience in Cleveland wears thin quickly. After a roller coaster tenure that's included playoff highs and frustrating lows, Stefanski is now coaching for his job. The front office hasn't been much better, often swinging big and missing even bigger in the draft and free agency. Continuity is rare in this organization, and that lack of stability seeps into every part of the franchise. From ownership to coaching to player personnel, the Browns need to find alignment. Without it, no quarterback, no scheme, and no amount of draft picks will be able to fix the systemic dysfunction that's held this team back for decades. Right now, that dysfunction seems alive and well heading into 2025, so where do the Browns go from here? The first step is identifying a quarterback and giving him every possible opportunity to grow. Whether it's Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, or even Joe Flacco, someone has to emerge as the leader of this offense. That means building a game plan around their strengths, improving the offensive line, and getting more production from skilled players not named Jerry Jeudy. It also means being patient, even when things inevitably get tough. This year shouldn't be about chasing unrealistic playoff hopes. It should be about laying a foundation. That means embracing the growing pains, not hiding from them. If the Browns can manage that, they might not win many games, but they'll be taking steps in the right direction. If not, they'll be stuck in the same endless cycle that's defined the franchise for far too long. Fans in Cleveland deserve better, and they know it. They've watched this team crash and burn more times than they can count, yet they still fill the stadium, still wear the jerseys, still believe. That kind of loyalty should be rewarded with at least a plan, a vision, something to hold on to. Instead, they're being asked to trust a team with no clear leader, no clear offensive identity, and a defense that's no longer dominant. They're being told to be patient again, even though patience has never seemed to pay off. And now, with national outlets like Bleacher Report essentially writing the Browns off before training camp even starts, it's hard not to feel like the rest of the league has stopped taking them seriously. That's not just a talent issue. That's a culture issue, and changing that starts at the top. If there's a silver lining, it's that the NFL is unpredictable. Teams can turn things around faster than anyone expects. Maybe Shedeur Sanders becomes a star. Maybe the Langels. Maybe Jerry Jeudy finds another gear and young receivers step up. Maybe the defense rediscovers its swagger. It's a lot of maybes, sure, but that's better than nothing. For now, though, the Browns are stuck in limbo, staring down a season filled with more questions than answers. Bleacher Report's prediction might be harsh, but it's not unfounded. This team has to prove it deserves to be taken seriously again. Not just by fans and analysts, but by itself. Until then, all signs point to another long, frustrating year. In Cleveland, one that could end with more changes, more quarterback debates, and more disappointment. It's up to the Browns to change that narrative, one snap at a time. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Something huge is brewing in Cleveland. And it's not just off-season drama. It might be the kind of story that shakes the entire NFL to its core. Rumors have begun to swirl that rookie running back Quinshon Judkins, the highly anticipated powerhouse, drafted by the Cleveland Browns, has been caught up in a potential doping scandal that could sideline him for the entire upcoming season. Yes, you heard that right. The explosive playmaker out of Ole Miss, who is expected to bring fresh energy to the Browns' backfield, is reportedly facing serious allegations related to performance-enhancing substances. While nothing has been officially confirmed by the team or the league at this point, insiders close to the situation suggest the whispers started gaining volume just days after a routine NFL drug test allegedly flagged something suspicious in Judkins' system. Fans and analysts alike are now left in disbelief, trying to piece together what this could mean for his career and for Cleveland's playoff hopes. Let's rewind for a moment. Quinshon Judkins wasn't just any rookie. He entered the NFL draft with sky-high expectations after 2 dominant seasons at Ole Miss, where he bulldozed SEC defenses and racked up eye-popping stats. The Browns saw something special in him. Something rare: explosiveness, agility, vision, and perhaps most importantly, maturity beyond his years. That's what made this report feel so jarring. This isn't some fringe prospect trying to cling to a roster spot. This is a player the Browns were counting on from day one. Multiple league sources have indicated that the test in question occurred sometime during minicamp in June. And while official lab results are tightly controlled, then the leak appears to have come from a source within the NFL's medical compliance division. If this rumor holds weight, and if a banned substance is confirmed, Judkins could be facing a minimum 4-game suspension, with the potential for a full-year ban depending on the nature and context of the violation. Now, let's talk motives and possibilities. Could this be a case of an accidental contamination, something as simple as a mislabeled supplement, or is there a deeper issue at play? Those close to Judkins describe him as disciplined, focused, and all about football. His college coaches raved about his work ethic and clean habits, so naturally some are already wondering if there's been a mistake. In today's NFL, the list of banned substances is long and complex, and even trace amounts of certain over-the-counter products can lead to violations. One theory floating around is that Judkins may have taken something for recovery or muscle inflammation, not realizing it contained a substance flagged by the league. This wouldn't be the first time a rookie got tripped up by the fine print of NFL policy. Still, others believe the league has become increasingly aggressive in its testing protocols, particularly in high-profile markets like Cleveland, where expectations are sky-high this season. The Browns front office, for its part, has remained tight-lipped. When asked about the rumors during a team press availability, head coach Kevin Stefanski gave a canned response about not commenting on speculation, but body language analysts and lip readers on social media were quick to point out that he looked noticeably tense. General manager Andrew Berry, usually calm under pressure, was reportedly seen leaving the facility in a rush after the story began gaining traction online. Could they be in crisis mode behind the scenes? One anonymous team source hinted that the Browns had been preparing contingency plans for the backfield even before this leak surfaced, which suggests the team may have known something was coming. If Judkins is officially suspended, Cleveland will be forced to lean heavily on its depth chart, which includes veterans who, while serviceable, simply don't have the ceiling Judkins does. And what does this mean for the locker room chemistry? You've got to imagine that this kind of news sends shockwaves through the team. Just when everything seemed to be falling into place, the off-season workouts were strong, team morale was high, and Judkins himself had reportedly become a locker room favorite, this bombshell drops. Sources say a number of Browns veterans were stunned when the whispers began to spread internally. There's also concern about the media frenzy that's sure to follow. Cleveland is no stranger to off-field controversies, but this one hits differently. This is a young player with his whole career ahead of him. And now, not only is his season in jeopardy, but his reputation might take a hit that could follow him for years. Even if he's ultimately cleared, the shadow of this rumor might linger longer than anyone expects. Social media, of course, has exploded. Fans are split. Some are calling for patience and demanding due process before anyone jumps to conclusions. Others are less forgiving, saying that athletes, especially rookies, should be extra careful about what they put in their bodies. Hashtags like "What if Free Judkins" and Judkins scandal have been trending for hours, and sports talk shows are already booking experts to break down what this could mean for the Browns season. A few diehard fans are even floating conspiracy theories, suggesting this might be an inside job designed to sabotage Cleveland's momentum. While that may sound far-fetched, the fact that the leak happened at all raises serious questions about confidentiality and protocol within NFL operations. One former player even tweeted that this feels like a setup, sparking even more speculation. There's also a financial side to this. Judkins signed a rookie deal that included performance bonuses and incentive clauses based on yardage, touchdowns, and game appearances. A suspension, even a short one, could severely impact his earnings and alter the trajectory of his early career. Not to mention the endorsements that were reportedly on the table. Word was, Judkins had been in talks with at least 2 major athletic brands for sponsorship deals set to launch in preseason. Now, radio silence. No brand wants to attach itself to a name embroiled in controversy, even if the final verdict is months away. It's a tough lesson for any young player, and it underscores just how brutal the business side of the NFL can. Albeit, one misstep, or even just the rumor of one, can cost millions. And let's not forget the broader implications for the Browns season. This team is in a win-now window. They've made major investments in their roster, from Deshaun Watson to Amari Cooper, and the fan base is hungry for a playoff run. Judkins was supposed to be a secret weapon, a dynamic back who could change the pace of a game in a heartbeat. Without him, defenses can focus more on Cleveland's passing game, and the offensive scheme may need a total rework. There's also the psychological blow. A scandal like this can derail momentum, sap team morale, and introduce distractions that no locker room wants. And in the brutal AFC North, where every inch matters, the Browns cannot afford even the slightest misstep. So the stakes here go far beyond one player. They could define the entire season. As of now, the league has made no official statement, but sources say an announcement could come within days, possibly even hours. Until then, it's a waiting game. Will Judkins lawyer up? Will he release a statement? Will the Browns move to suspend him proactively or stand by him until more facts emerge? We don't know yet, but one thing is certain, the spotlight is now fully on Cleveland. This is the kind of storyline that dominates headlines, disrupts camps, and lives in the minds of players and coaches alike. And if history is any guide, the NFL doesn't take these matters lightly. Whether it ends with vindication or punishment, this moment could be a defining one for Quinshon Judkins' career before it even truly begins. For now, we're left with questions, lots of them. Is this just a false alarm, a rookie mistake, or something deeper? Was the test accurate? Who leaked the story and why? Is the league trying to make an example out of Judkins? Or is this simply a case of poor timing and bad luck? And most importantly, what happens next? As the rumor mill continues to churn and the NFL world holds its breath, one thing is undeniable. This story isn't going away anytime soon. Whether he's guilty, innocent, or somewhere in between, Quinshon Judkins is now at the center of one of the offseason's biggest controversies. And the way this saga unfolds could shape not only his future, but the Browns as well. Stay tuned, because things are only just getting started. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you like the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!